Hello and welcome to the sixth MGM Top 8. This is Toralf and I'm here with.
Thomas.
Yeah, right. We're going to commentate your games for you. We see here the quarterfinals between Jeskai on the left, with Max, and Grixis on the right with Justus. No, that's the other way around. Max on the left with Grixis and on the right, Justus with Jeskai. And it's going to be an interesting match, a bit slower, I guess. Um, we're going to see some gameplay between some controlling effects, some nice value creatures. What do you think? Who's ahead in this game?
Well, I'm really not sure. I think Grixis list is the controlling list. It
Mhm.
has much less creatures and I think more card draw and overall more velocity. The Jeskai list is a bit beefier. Could be that the Jeskai wants to play the aggressor role a little bit, but I think both decks are capable of playing each role.
Now we can see here the cards of the player's hand on the bottom of your screen. On the left, we see a nice two land with Thoughtseize and Jace. That's pretty good.
Pretty good hand. Curves nice into True Nemesis when a land comes around.
And that's exactly a hand that can put pressure. If you play
Yes.
Thoughtseize, take one removal, play Jace, can flip it maybe. That's cool. On the right, we see three lands and yeah, some medium interactive spells, a Pyromancer, a Detention Sphere, Unexpectedly Absent. Seems promising. Okay, we see
Seems
if
promising. Will be kind of interesting because Justus may want to fetch a volcanic island for his young pyromancer to play on turn 2, and then doesn't have double white for the unexpectedly absent. But we will see how this plays out.
yeah, right now you always have to look out how you cast your spells, and he knows from the start that he does have to draw a colored source of either red or white, so he probably might not crack the fetch soon.
We
We'll,
will see.
we will see. We see an Underground Sea here on the left, and of course the always feared turn one thoughts. I've seen games conceded to this.
Yeah, that's just the start you want with Grixis. You are lacking on one drops which are interactive, basically with 3 discard spells. So it's the perfect starting for this deck.
You probably also have some bowls and
Yeah, sure.
maybe a dismember, but of course, with all the control decks, you basically want to take care that your opponent doesn't do anything very quick and dangerous.
Right.
And
So what's your take on this hand?
yeah, I guess you can take a removal because you don't really care. Like the detention sphere and the absent doesn't take the nemesis, and they're yeah, not good enough for the Jace, I would say. And you right now don't have a remove for the pyroman, so that could be annoying.
Yes. I
And
think it's the obvious Pyromancer, because, like you said, unexpectedly absent and the sphere doesn't deal with the true name nemesis, but he chooses to pick the detention sphere out of the hand.
that
Okay.
that seems like he wants to uh, protect the Jace, which
Right.
it is true the absent cannot really take it away. And also, if he wants to play the absent on two, he needs to fetch a white, which means that there's no pyromancer. So understandable. So we see a
Yeah.
volcanic island here, and I guess of course
Yeah.
we see now the Jace following. How good is Jace in Highlander?
I think it's not as good as it is maybe in, or was maybe in standard. It's
Hmm.
most of the time just dying, which is, I guess, a sign of the creature's quality too, like they're confident or something like that.
Yeah.
So far, it is a very good card, but nothing to be too scared of, I think.
There's also the thing that it does not flip as fast.
Yes,
There were turns in standard or of course in modern or legacy where it flips right away on three and
right.
almost sure on four, but it's not so sure that it does something in Highlander because it's much slower. You don't have the fast cards as surely as you want to.
Yeah. Same thing is true for Young Pyromancer, a
Mm.
card which I'm often not very impressed with in Highlander because decks are more built around a curve and not a multitude of cheap spells. And there's a Sotsu Plowshares from Justus, which he draw last turn, so a timely answer for the Jace.
Yeah, also big nice synergy of giving 0 life to your opponent.
Right. Not that it matters too much. Although the Grixis deck has the potential to damage itself quite a bit with stuff like Painful Truth.
Yeah, we see
And
here
so on.
Ponder, and you have the looking on the player's hands. And Max is looking at Kalita's Damnation and Creeping Tar Pit, of course, looking for a third land.
Yes,
And
that's an auto shuffle.
I can't imagine that this is a shuffle, because what you're probably doing is taking Tar Pit and playing the Praetor's Grass. That's the.
Oh wait, right. Excuse me. I just like didn't consider Tarpit was a land for some reason. Yeah. No, that's fine. Keep. You
It's a
needed a
3/2
land to hit
unblockable
that.
creature, yeah. And that's going to now see which card he takes as the drawn card next turn, because he can only keep one. We will see. On the right side here, the third land is going to be a fetch land, fetching for probably the blue red again. Oh no, he needs white, so probably red white.
He has a plains, right? It's a
There's a
land
place
and
in
plains.
play.
And he needs a second plains for a second white for the unexpectedly absent.
Yeah, and also having a second red is nice since you have the island in hand. And ooh, the drawn kitchen things fits
Good.
nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Very annoying threat because it comes right away, back again to the game when it gets killed. And yeah, usually those creatures are like, yeah, I deal with them later maybe, and then they hit for 3 and hit for another 3 and
Yes. I think in these matchups, like control-ish decks against each other, it's just very important to stick one thing. It might not even be very big, like a Grim Lava Mancer might surface,
Mhm.
and kind of dictate the pace, because you can react with your spells to your opponent's spells, and this often gives you a strategical advantage.
Yeah, and especially if kitchen things is not a threat you want to handle. If you see like a languish now, you'll feel like, oh wow, I have to spend my languish on the kitchen things that even comes back.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
see
there's
here,
Raiders Grasp, right?
well, one of my favorite cards. It's so nice to take something and you don't even know what, even though honestly the card like in 89% of the time is always the same card.
Is a wasteland, right?
Because it's something you have to cast, and
Yeah.
usually your opponent doesn't oblige to your all of your colors, so you're restricted to one of the colors, and you need a land. Wasted is really annoying. It also has a high utility if you need to kill lands from your opponent.
Yeah.
I think
Texas, the running top was a card which could have been taken, I guess. So because it was colorless, but Wasteland is often the choice with this card. But Predator's Grasp is not played very often. I don't see it that much.
it's I think more of a metagame personal choice. Like you play it if you really like it and you don't care, which is usually the
Yeah,
my
it seems like
approach.
a pet card
Yeah,
for
and I
sure.
think if you expect a lot of control, that's like a neat card you can play. Ooh, and he sacrifices the wasteland right away.
I
That's
think that's
interesting.
fine. I think it's fine. He has the answer for the kitchen things in the form of True Nemesis, so the 3 or 6 points of damage don't matter that much.
Mhm.
He maybe just wants to try to get lucky and screw Eustace here out of the game.
Yeah, he knows about the Ajani, so he's maybe afraid that this hits the play.
Right.
And you can imagine that like lands are very important for a Grixis control deck. Here we see the Chronin Nemesis. So would you sacrifice your fourth land? You know that you have to draw again. I would feel a
It's
bit
tricky. It's
annoyed, yeah.
tricky.
But it's
Like
very yeah.
when he casts Trader's Grasp and Eustace hits his fourth land right away, he drops a Ajani and locks down a land, which is basically setting you back one land too. And
But but you can still play the Chronin Nemesis and
yeah,
kill Johnny like over a few
over a
courses.
few turns, right?
Oh, we see a Forcible, but no other blue card. That's a bit ironic because it's not a very strong Forcible right now. And here we see what you said, that the little creatures make the difference.
Right.
It's like a little ticking, and Max is already at 8 life, drawing Order of Succession? I think
Order
that's
of
it.
Succession, this is interesting. Well, not a
So
good card right now, but
yeah, that's a
card.
very awkward card for people that don't know it. It's basically a control magic, only to the point that you don't take something with with the enchantment. You take it from your opponent, and your opponent gets something back. So if you don't have a creature, they don't get anything, but you get a creature. If you both have a creature, you can trade. And the good thing is that it doesn't enchant. So if you get it, you have it, and they have to take it away by blinking it or something like that.
Right. It's usually used as an out to True Name Nemesis or stuff like from the Last Troll or something like that
Yeah,
in very creature-like decks.
because it doesn't target, it just
Right.
chooses. Yeah, interesting card. And now Max is still in the same problem with only 3 lands and yeah, having to take care of the Ajani, not really being able to defend.
He's now only at 3. I don't think he can come back from this.
Yeah, he draws a Kolaghan's command, which can only take care of one creature. A fourth land would have been nice for language
Right.
representation, but yeah, you never know that you need more lands. And we also see the unexpectedly absent still in the hand, which yeah was not really unexpectedly absent from the game because there was nothing to target. But
Right.
Remand is a strong card.
And despite Justus winning this game and Young Pyromancer making a thing by being a 2-1, you see that the Pyromancer has not produced 1 token. So this
Yeah,
is a slight difference from the performance of this young wizard when you compare it to Legacy, where he spits out like 4 tokens on the second turn when he's in play or something like that.
it's so hard to make the transition between this is a pyromancer, it makes like a few tokens at such value in one format to it's still the same card but it does do something different or
Yes,
uh
it's just a little bit fairer in Highlanders, I'd like to say.
there are a lot of cards that are fairer in Highlander. It's true. So this is what it looks like, lethal attack on the board, but we know that there's something coming up. Inferno Titan was the draw for the turn here, which might be relevant later. There's only one
Might
land
be.
away. So we see,
Might be it's over now, but I guess we'll see.
yeah, Kolaghan's command, uh, only having 2 modes here, killing something and discarding, and of
Right.
course, now
Probably killing the young Pyromancer.
and now the Force of Will, stuck in hand, finally gets to do
Gets
something.
rebounded.
So the Kolaghan's command, right? Because the young Pyromancer, which means that the Trinity Nemesis can block the kitchen things. The Delver deals his 1 nitty point of damage, and Max will still survive this attack. Barely, but
There
still.
should be a Pyromancer elemental token right now. I
Mm.
guess it was missed by Justus.
Yeah, good point. Even though the Remind is countered, it still activates the ability of the Pyromancer. And right now, they're just thinking about which card to discard. We have the Inferno Titan and the Absent, and yeah, it doesn't look like the Absent is going to be important, which literally means it's going to be absent from the game.
Right. Yeah, I can see this card. I mean, 1 top deck land would enable Inferno Titan, which basically locks the game.
Yeah, basically, Max has to interact again with the board before surviving the turn.
Right.
We see here the draw step of Condescend, very timely. And yeah, that's about it. The only chance left is to play the Terminate now and being able to block. The Debba still didn't flip. That was also a card that gets worse than Highlander, huh?
That's very true. There are just not that many cantrips to set it up.
Okay, so we
Okay.
see there was this game, and we see us next game.